Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that our country has been going through some big changes. Lots of people calling it quits in the big cities and saying, you know what, I want to try small rural towns. But what happens is you get too many of those people in a small rural town. It's not a small rural town anymore. And for us here in North Idaho, that town is Post Falls. Lots of growth, lots of people moving there. And since it's been a while since I've done an update video, it's time that we update you on all of the changes taking place. I'm going to talk about why I still love Post Falls. And at the end, I'm going to tell you some of the things that maybe will keep you from wanting to move there. I don't know. It's up for you to decide. But let's get going. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. If this is your first time to our channel and you're interested in knowing more of what it's like living, eating, working, playing, buying real estate here in Idaho, this is the channel for you. Make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so every time we come out with a new video, you get notified. So today we're talking about Post Falls. And for those of you who are just starting your research on getting moved to Idaho, you might be going, where's Post Falls? Well, here is a satellite view. As you can see, it's right next to Spokane. It's in between Coeur d'Alene. I'm going to talk about why that's such a benefit here in a little bit. But this is the town that I grew up in. My parents brought me here from Santa Cruz, California when I was about 6 years old back in 1992. So I have been in this town for a very long time. Hold this town very near and dear to my heart, but it is changing rapidly, and that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. Okay, to start with these updates, let's go ahead and jump over to the MLS, the multiple listing service. This will tell us what the average cost of a home is here in Post Falls. And as you can see, this is great news. Looks like we've hit our peak. At least for now, prices are starting to come back down. $515,000 for the average home. But you have to remember, in Post Falls, there are homes on rivers, there are homes on acreage with shops. You have a wide variety of the types of homes you can have here. So that doesn't mean that's the entry level price. There are homes that are less expensive than that, but it gives you an idea what the average is. And when you compare it to the whole MLS for North Idaho or in Coeur d'Alene, it's still a bit of a bargain, especially for some of the growth that's happening out there, which we're going to dive into now. Now, if you go back and watch the first videos I did on Post Falls, one of my big complaints was there was no downtown.
Another major con, which I've criticized Post Falls pretty much the entire time I lived there. There's no real downtown.
Everything was spread out. Everything was kind of scattered about, and it took a while for you to go get your groceries and then go shop at Walmart and then go get some food. And it wasn't that bad when there weren't a lot of people there, but there's quite a few people. So of course it's taking longer. But the good news is there's finally a downtown being built. It's called the Millworx. And there's going to be 61 high-end condos with commercial space underneath. I believe they're going to be putting a park pretty close to that area. It's just going to be nice to be able to have a central location to park your car. You can go grab a coffee, you can do a little bit of shopping, hang out for a little while, where they never really had that. So that's a really exciting addition that's coming to Post Falls. And as you can see, most of it is built. They still have a ways to go, but I think it's going to be a really beautiful addition to Post Falls. Now, the downtown that was supposed to be in Post Falls pre-2008 is called the Falls Pavilion. And as you can see, they put in a lot of the infrastructure, but the 2008 crash happened and the investments were pulled. That's starting to get revived again as well. It's going to be mixed use space as well as medical. Hopefully they will still maintain it for what it was meant to be, which was a downtown area. And I believe after talking to the Chamber of Commerce, that is the plan. So you're going to have two spots that are going to be a bit of a downtown, very similar to Coeur d'Alene. They have the downtown Coeur d'Alene and then they have Riverstone, which are kind of two separate downtowns, two different feels, different types of shops, different things to do. And overall, having grown up there, I know a lot of people are like, no growth, it's going to turn into LA. I think we're very, very far off from LA. I think that's way down the future if that ever happens. But for someone who grew up in Post Falls, it's pretty exciting, again, to see this kind of growth happening. I've also mentioned in previous videos that Post Falls has some medical facilities, but not very much. That also is about to change. The Northwest Specialty Hospital is going to be building a surgery center right there in Post Falls. I'm not sure what surgeries they're going to be offering, but again, something nice where you don't have to travel into Spokane or into Coeur d'Alene to be able to get a service. You can stay right there in Post Falls. Now, as you can see, heading up on 41, there are a lot of homes being built in this area. I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the video, how I feel about that, how that's going to affect Post Falls. But what is pretty cool is on 41 and Prairie, they are putting in a major shopping center. You might go, Trent, why are you excited about this? Isn't North Idaho supposed to be just tiny little rural towns? Yeah, it is. But that also creates lots of traffic heading into Spokane to be able to get your stuff, or making everybody come into Coeur d'Alene to do their shopping. So to me, I see this as a big benefit. You have more jobs, you have more access to get your supplies, get the things that you need without having to drive in a bunch of traffic. Because as you know, we've seen this down in the Treasure Valley area, towns that refused to accept that the growth was happening and plan accordingly create massive traffic problems because everybody's got to leave their house and drive on the same road to get to the same place. So you can scatter that out a bit. It's going to solve a lot of those problems. And for us living here, even though comparatively to a big city, the traffic is nothing, we don't like to deal with it. So seeing these developments, knowing that this is going to help eliminate some of that traffic, I say is A-okay. Another big update, the Prairie Falls Golf Course. Man, they have been making some moves. I'll tell you what, they are now building a whole facility. It's gonna be kind of like a hotel, but it's actually what I was told was condos. And it's gonna be all these stay and play packages. So you have a place to rent out to stay with your buddies or your family, and then you get to walk right onto the golf course and play their beautiful course. If you remember from a previous video, or maybe you didn't watch it, Post Falls has 3 golf courses. They have the Highlands Golf Course, they have the Links, and they have Prairie Falls. And if that's not enough golf for you, you just go over into Liberty Lake. There's 3 more, or you go over into Hayden. There's a bunch there. Coeur d'Alene has a bunch. We have a lot of golf up here. So for those who like golfing, this is fantastic news. I almost forgot to mention over by the Millworx site, just east of it, you are going to have a Hyatt hotel that's going to get put in, which will help alleviate some of the pressure that's on the hotels and STRs that are in the area. A lot of them get booked out completely and prevents more people from being able to come here, which I know a lot of people are like, great, but we are driven by tourism here. A lot of the businesses rely on tourism. A lot of the servers and the bussers and restaurant workers, they rely on that. So we want to be able to keep that open so that they can afford to live here as well. So again, is everybody excited about a hotel? No, not really, but overall it is going to be good for this area. Another big change that's coming to Post Falls as well as all of Idaho, they're changing the tax code. So we do have income tax here. It used to be 1% to 6%. It is now going to be a flat 5.8%. Not great, not sure why they changed it, but it's something you need to be aware of. The last major update is out at Stateline. They've been developing this area for quite a few years. Cabela's got put out there many years ago. Post Falls' second Walmart is out there. Now there's an RV park and a whole bunch of businesses just pulled permits for that area. But what's really exciting, because I heard that it was happening, then I heard it was just a rumor, but I talked to the Chamber of Commerce and they said, no, Costco is doing surveys right now. They are considering that area, but with the recent changes with the economy, they want to move slow. Costco is one of the smartest corporations in our country, in my opinion, but I think their stock speaks for itself. They're very, very smart, but the fact is that it's gotten very busy at the Coeur d'Alene Costco, very busy at the Spokane Valley Costco. So this would be a welcomed addition so that, again, you don't have to drive on the small freeway to get to the Coeur d'Alene Costco or the Spokane Valley Costco. Now, guys, there's a lot of other businesses that are coming to Post Falls, but they're restaurants and little mom and pop shops and things like that. So, you know, these are just things that happen in town. I don't want to get into the specifics with every single thing because this video would never end. But those are the major changes that are happening. And guys, real quick, every single day we get people just like you that have been watching these videos and they're serious about getting moved to North Idaho, and they're reaching out with phone, text, email, and we absolutely love it. So if this is you and you're serious about getting moved to North Idaho, reach out. Day, nights, weekends. We can't reach out to you. you got to reach out to us, but I promise you, you will not regret calling us if you are serious about getting moved here. All right, let's get back to the video. Why do I still love Post Falls, even though it's changing rapidly and it's not really looking like the town that I grew up in? Because Post Falls has some really awesome benefits. You have tons of parks to go at. I mean, you've got the falls that has rock climbing, long trails right along the river. You have the Post Falls Community Park, which, trust me, it's huge. You need to do your research. When I took my kids there, we're like, let's go on a 30-minute hike. Well, we kind of didn't follow the trails that we were supposed to keep it at 30 minutes. It was 2.5 hours, and it was pretty intense. So there are definitely different levels to that park. You gotta watch out. But there's so much that Post Falls offers. Whether you want to live in a neighborhood and not have any HOAs and do whatever you want, you have those. You want a nice neighborhood that has HOAs. You want a house with a shop attached to it. You have those as well. You want to have some property. You want to be in town, but you want to be on an acre or 5 acres. You have that, and you have your waterfront properties, or you can live way up in the mountains in Post Falls. I mean, Post Falls is very, very big. It really encompasses all types of different lifestyles that you can have here. I mentioned that I was going to talk about the location of Post Falls. That's probably one of the biggest benefits. The fact is living here, you're going to need to go into Coeur d'Alene. You're going to want to go into Coeur d'Alene. Coeur d'Alene's awesome. You're going to need to go into Spokane. That's not always a want. It's oftentimes a need, like going to an Apple store. And you are centrally located. We do have an international airport. It's located in Spokane. From Post Falls, it's about 35. So the location, you could not ask for any better. You can shoot right up into Schweitzer if you want to go skiing, or you can get to Mount Spokane, which is an awesome mountain, within about 45 minutes or an hour. So the location, super hard to beat. Now, I know a lot of people are moving to Idaho because they want their freedoms and the Constitution to be respected. In North Idaho, Post Falls is one of those towns that absolutely, at a detriment to themselves, I think, respects people's freedoms, private property, and the Constitution. In fact, if you want to have a shop that has apartments above it, so you can rent that out and generate some income, there are a lot of neighborhoods that don't have HOAs, no CC&Rs, where the Post Falls allows it. They go, yeah, that's your right. You are the owner of that property. STR is trying to be shut down in Coeur d'Alene. I talked to the city officials in Post Falls. They go, no, I don't even know how Coeur d'Alene's trying to do that. It's not constitutional for the Idaho Constitution. So they really, really respect people's freedoms. They really stand up for people's constitutional rights. I think right now a lot of people are wanting that. So another major reason Post Falls is awesome. The school district in Post Falls, this blows my mind. Post Falls took #1 in all of Idaho. That's incredible. I mean, it's a small town and they took #1, which is awesome. My daughter goes to school there, so that is really cool. And the last thing that I love about Post Falls, they have some of the best restaurants. The White House Grill. I need to update you guys because 2 years ago, I couldn't eat there. I could not have garlic. Found out it was caffeine that was ruining my gut. Now I can have all the garlic I want. So I've been eating there, been eating at the Pentagon over in Liberty Lake. That's an extension, another restaurant that he owns. It's amazing. But we have French restaurants. There's lots of pubs and breweries. I mean, it really is awesome. There's some really good food selections in Post Falls. But of course, there's some major negatives of living in Post Falls. Let's talk about those. The construction. It feels like the construction's never ending. It is. And I swear there's like construction season. It will be all over the place. And you just go, why? Why can't you leave one arterial where we could travel and not be impeded with construction signs and slowing down? That's just the way it is. And I think it's going to be that way for a while. There's a lot of growth happening in Post Falls. So the construction is going to continue. So if you are one of those people that are like, no, I just want to live in a town that's already the way it's going to be, it's not going to change too much, Post Falls is probably not that area. If you find the growth exciting, if you can deal with the construction, it's great. I've mentioned in my past video, the design and layout of Post Falls. It's a big pain in the butt. I mentioned the houses that are being built off of 41. They are so tightly packed together in there. I mean, I got lost in a neighborhood, even with GPS. I was like, how am I still in these developments? And because it was having me cut through. Again, the city of Post Falls really respects people's freedoms and rights, including developers. They don't interfere too much. And unfortunately, I think that's been a mistake to a degree. It's a detriment that there's so many homes packed together in there. I don't love that. I think the layout should have been better, but I also know that they didn't plan on this kind of growth. So hopefully with the downtown being built, hopefully with the growth that's happening, they're looking at it and going, we're going to help design this a little bit better. And the last thing that might make you go, I don't know if I want that, the trains in Post Falls. I got used to them. I realized where I live now, I can still hear the trains, but they're off in the distance. We get about 8 to 15 trains a day that come through Post Falls. Way better than Sandpoint. Sandpoint gets like 60, but trains are a part of life here in the inland Northwest. So you want to make sure, one, if you hate trains, they freak you out or whatever, you might not want Post Falls. There's some towns that aren't near tracks in other parts of North Idaho, but Post Falls, there are a couple of train tracks that go through there. And you want to make sure that when you're looking at a house and the realtor you're working with, make sure they know, hey, I need to know how close this is to the train, and I need to know how loud that's going to be. That's a big deal. We've had people that bought in Post Falls. They weren't working with us, but they got a hold of us to sell their house. They go, oh my gosh, my realtor didn't tell me how many trains come through here. It can be a big deal if you are too close to the railroad tracks. So that is kind of a detriment to Post Falls. So guys, that's it. That is the updates happening in Post Falls, Idaho. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. It might be pretty long. I'll see when I go to edit it, but I appreciate you guys watching all the way through. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, is Post Falls a place that you can live? Why or why not? If you are serious about getting moved to Idaho, reach out with a phone call, text, or email, day, nights, weekends, it does not matter. We love helping people figure out if this is the right place for them and helping them get moved here. Until the next one, guys, I will see you later.